Hi all and welcome back to the All Things Football podcast, a chance for us as always to round up what's happening across the leagues, bring an update with non-league and what's happening across Europe. So the weekend's action started on Friday night at the Bet365 Stadium with Stoke playing West Bromwich Albion. An early relegation six-pointer as Burnley and Norwich faced off at Turf Moor in the Premier League. Coventry and Fulham was the game of the day in the Championship, plus another old Premier League fixtures played in League One. So, without further ado, Daniel, how are we this fine Sunday?
Yeah, doing really good. Good week all round. How was your week?
Not bad. It was pretty good, actually. Good working week. The weather's getting terrible, but not been too bad today. So, yeah, can't complain.
Typical weather, typical weather in Britain at the minute. I think we're fully well into that autumn time of season now, ain't it? But yeah, good week. A really hectic kind of weekend, wasn't it, really, in the football, with some more fixtures going on today. And I think that ties us really nicely with the Premier League. So when we come back, it's the Premier League.
So, where do we start with the Premier League this weekend?
I think the only place to start really is at Ellen Road. A fantastic win for Leeds United. First league win of the season for them. That leaves them in 16th position with Loriente getting the goal for Leeds United. I don't know about you, Adie. I think that was a much needed win for Leeds United.
Absolutely, picking up that first win of the season, needed. Very much needed.
Definitely, and I think we've said quite often over the last couple of weeks since the season started that Leeds United won't be there or thereabouts based upon their squad.
I don't think so.
No, but I think, that first win is going to be ideal for Leeds United fans. So Leeds United fans, let us know how do you see your season going on now. It's always important to get that first victory of the season, and you've done that. But I want to turn the attention to Watford. Watford fans, you are now searching for your 15th manager in 10 years, 18th manager if you count the caretaker bosses that have been in place. So yeah, we've seen the news this morning that Xisco Muniz has left his job at Watford, and we're quite baffled, aren't we, pal? We're really baffled by that decision.
It does baffle me. Watford fans, you're currently in 14th place, 7 points. You're actually 2 places ahead of Leeds as well. And you've just been promoted back to the Premier League, so it just baffles me, really, this whole managerial charade, let's put it nicely. It doesn't make sense to me at all.
No, and I agree. I think in terms of those numbers that I've just mentioned there, I just don't see what kind of direction that the board want.
It's not a good sign for stability, is it, really?
It's not, no. And those numbers speak for themselves in terms of the managerial kind of people that they've looked for over the years. And the last 2 managers, they've been quite unknown, really, to anyone. Well, I've never heard of them pre-Watford. But I don't know whether they need to look for that stability now. They need to look for that manager that's going to help them grow, help them establish themselves in the Premier League. And there's no reason why they can't do that. The 14th in the league, and they're above some clubs in that league at the minute: Newcastle, Burnley, Southampton, Leeds, and Crystal Palace, who in recent seasons have done really well, haven't they? Really,
and they are theoretically established teams, aren't they, in the league?
Exactly. Well? Yeah, exactly. And looking at the results, 1-1 draw against Newcastle, you can't grumble at that. 3-1 away victory over Norwich, which is always good against promotion club. And then I think it was the opening day, weren't it? They got off to a flyer on the opening day of the season, beating Aston Villa 3-2. And yeah, it just baffles me. So Watford fans, let us know in regards to who you would like now as your manager down at Vicarage Road. Shall we head to the early kickoff in the Premier League yesterday at Old Trafford? We spoke briefly this morning about the incident that you mentioned when the goal went in for Everton.
So it was Manchester United 1, Everton 1. Man U started off the gate. They got the first goal, and then Everton fought back in the second half. I think it was like the 60-odd minutes. Andros Townsend got the reply, but he decided to do the Ronaldo celebration in front of the Old Trafford faithful, and they were just chuffed to bits.
Well, I can imagine, yeah. And fair play to him for doing that. He's gonna try and antagonise as much as he can, isn't he? The Old
Absolutely.
Trafford faithful, and doing that celebration is the best way to do it. And what a
Yep.
place to get the equaliser. But yeah, 1-1 Manchester United. I think it was Martial, weren't it, that got the goal
He got the goal for Man U, yeah.
for United. Was it late in the first half, that goal winning?
I think it was, yeah, 40 odd. Yeah, I think it was late in the first
Yeah,
half.
late in the first half, and then literally 20 minutes after the second half started. Yeah, Townsend got that equaliser and did the celebration as well. I'm just watching the highlight now, actually watching him. He did. He
He
kind of
must have got
done his
some
own little
abuse.
spin on it, didn't he? Really,
He would have
when he
got some
came to it.
abuse.
But Manchester United, you're still in third position. You're still in those Champions League spot, and Everton, you are in fourth as well. So you're in those Champions League spots as well. Remember, guys, there are some games today that could change all that as well. We'll come on to those a little bit later on. But Rafa Benitez, in my eyes, doing a really good job.
I think he's made a good start at Everton, to be honest. He's obviously, he was never going to be Mr. Popular when he took the job. That was a given. Everybody knew that because of the Liverpool connection. But he's made a solid start. Yeah, Everton, I think they've made a really good start this season. Currently fourth place, just below Man U. Really good.
I think in
Great
terms
draw.
of the fixtures, the fixtures have been quite kind to them in terms of the
Yeah.
teams that they've played. However, they've only really had one game where they pretty much, it didn't go well in the second half. It was that Aston Villa annihilation in that second
That was
half
a
game
crazy
against
second
them.
half, though.
But other than that, I think Everton, it'll be good to see them come up against the teams like United, and that was a great result yesterday. It'd be good to see them play the teams in sort of like the top 10 now to see how well they can do. I'm just looking at their fixtures now to see what we've got. We've got West Ham coming up, Watford, Wolves, Tottenham, Man City. So Brentford, Liverpool, Arsenal. So they have got some fixtures coming up. So we'll get a really good indication of how Everton's season's going to be pretty much going into December, really. So we'll see over the coming weeks and months how Everton get on there. There was a very, very early relegation 6-pointer yesterday at Turf Moor. How did that go down, Adie?
It finished a bit of a drab 0-0 draw. I think both teams, I would imagine, were probably just defending and just being very cautious, not wanting to concede goals, and neither did.
Completely agree. I'm just looking at the stats. Possession-wise, Burnley led the play, but in terms of shots, there were plenty of opportunities for both teams. They're both in double figures for the game. Not many shots on target, so it sounded like a very much an end-to-end game for both Burnley and Norwich. However, I think Norwich fans, that's finally a 1 point on the board for yourselves. You still sit bottom of the table in the Premier League, and Burnley, you are now what's that? Is it 3 points, Adie? 3 points, Burnley?
Yes, they are on 3 points. Yeah,
Burnley 3 points. That's what's that? 3 draws. That's but yeah, there's still no wins. There's still no wins for Burnley or Norwich. Just looking at the fixtures coming up for Burnley. Ouch. Manchester City away for Burnley next. Norwich, Brighton at home. So both, in my eyes, at the minute, ouch fixtures for both teams there. So yeah, that was the relegation 6-pointer yesterday in the Premier League. Let's go, because I heard rumours yesterday that Timo Werner got himself on the score sheet
he
for
certainly
Chelsea.
did yesterday. Yeah, it finished Chelsea 3, Southampton 1. Like you said, Timo Werner got the goal yesterday, didn't he?
He did indeed, and I think it was quite early doors, actually. I think the doors opened early for Chelsea. Chalobah, within the first 10 minutes, got the game. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was a Southampton penalty, the reason they got on the score sheet. Obviously, Ward-Prowse takes the penalties down at St Mary's, so they got that. And then, Werner in the 84th minute, and then Ben Chilwell on the score sheet as well for Chelsea. A 3-1 victory over Southampton. And where does that leave Chelsea now, Adie, in the table?
Chelsea are currently in first place.
Currently in first position. Southampton, I think we mentioned a little bit earlier on, 17th in the league. And how do you see Southampton's season, Adie?
I mean, it was a struggle last season for them, wasn't it? They proper dipped last season. I can see him struggling again this season, I think losing a player like Danny Ings, who bangs the goals in, I don't think they fully replaced him properly. I mean, they've got, is it Che Adams they have as well?
Yep.
Main striker they've got now. I don't think they fully replaced Ings. I don't know where the goals are going to come from. So it's going to be tough for them, I reckon, to survive the season.
Just looking at their fixtures so far this season. Obviously, opening day of the season, they went down 3-1 to Everton. But you know what? In terms of the games that they've played against some of the top boys, they drew against Manchester United.
Mm-hmm.
They got a point against Newcastle, which, looking at the green scheme of things at the minute with the table, that's a really good point to have away from home. Drew against West Ham.
Mm-hmm.
Drew against Manchester City. So they're by the sounds of it, they're in these games, and by the sounds of it, yeah, the away games they seem to be doing, by the looks of things, a lot more better. So their away form seems to be better. But obviously that came to an end yesterday with that loss at Stamford Bridge to Chelsea, and then previously it was a loss to Wolves at home. So yeah, Chelsea 3, Southampton 1. Talking of Wolves, did they win? Did they finally get a win yesterday?
They absolutely did. They had to come from behind, but they actually beat Newcastle 2-1 at the Molineux yesterday.
2-1, and looking at the table, Adie, I think that the table speaks for itself at the minute. Newcastle, you're currently in the relegation zone. You're second bottom of the league. Who got the goal yesterday for them? Hendrick. So yeah, Hendrick and Hwang. Oh, yeah, I probably pronounced that wrong. But he's been a cracking little signing actually for Wolves by the sounds of it. I think the fans are really enjoying him. If you're not that much aware of him, it's Hee Chan Hwang for Wolverhampton Wanderers. And yeah, you're right. Actually Wolves went 1-0 up. Newcastle pulled it back in the 40, so 1-1 at half time, and then early door second half, Wolves got that victory there. So that's a good win. That's a good win for Wolves. Where does that leave them now? Where does that leave them? 11th in the league.
Yeah,
11th in the league in the Premier League. And
they're
I think
slowly creeping up now, aren't they?
They are indeed, yeah. And I think the expectation from us is, yes, there was a new manager, new style of play, players, and things like that. But Wolves seem to be now finding their feet. So what's that? 1, 2. So it's 2 wins on the bounce for them. 2 wins on the bounce. But again, they're picking up the victories against the teams that are currently occupying that bottom end of the table. They lost to Brentford. They've lost to Manchester United. They've lost to Tottenham, Leicester. So they are losing to those teams currently occupying the top 10 kind of position, all those teams that we anticipate to be up there. But yeah, Wolves 2, Newcastle 1. And I think, I'll be honest, I didn't really enjoy the game last night. Brighton and Arsenal. It did end 0-0. Brighton 0, Arsenal 0. And there was a VAR check for a penalty very, very late on for Brighton. That wasn't awarded.
What was it ruled out for?
It was by the looks of it, it was a blatant a dive by the sounds of it. I'm just gonna bring that up again and just have a look at it again myself. But Brighton and Hove Albion fans, I wouldn't be too. I think that's a great point, and I think the reason that's a great point is because, you know what, Arsenal have been superb in recent games. They've seemed to have now found their feet in the Premier League, and that speaks for itself because they're currently 9th in the Premier League now. And it's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy to think that we're now speaking after those first couple of episodes where we thought, yeah, Arsenal have got no hope in hell of even getting anywhere near those top positions, but they are now currently in 9th.
Yeah, they're slowly plugging away, getting into the top half again now, aren't they?
And then, yeah, Brighton and Hove Albion, you are still in those European spots. You're still in 5th position. But yeah, in terms of, it would have been good if that penalty was given yesterday. Yeah, they're doing really well. And I've got to say, Brighton Hove Albion fans, how do you still see your season coming to an end? So, Adie, what are the fixtures today in the Premier League?
So today's games, we've got the Crystal Palace versus Leicester, followed by a bit of a tasty game, Tottenham versus Villa. That could be quite interesting. Quite close in the table there, actually. Tottenham in 12th, Villa in 8th. Should be a good game.
It's crazy to see Tottenham in 12th now after that great early start. Yeah. Arsenal are now above them. Look at the teams above them: Wolves, Brentford, Arsenal, Villa, West Ham, Brighton. What a season it's been so far.
It has been pretty crazy start so far. And then we've got West Ham United versus Brentford. West Ham, 7th place West Ham versus 10th place Brentford. That should be a good game. Bit of a London derby, isn't it, that one?
It is indeed, yep.
And the big game of the day is Liverpool versus Man City. Liverpool in 2nd and Man City currently 6th.
Still surprised, actually, looking at that table, seeing Manchester City in 5th in the table. I'm just going to Just looking now to see what kind of if they can pick up that win today. Whereabouts does that take them into the Premier League? So
Let's have a look.
17. So it could, in theory, it depends on the other results, but they could go joint top. Well, actually, they could go top today.
They
So
score at least 2 or 3 goals.
and
goal
that just
difference.
shows how close that pretty much that top 10 really is in terms of positions wise.
Really
And
congested.
hey, you know what? And that's why they say it's one of the best leagues in the world. So in terms of the table, let's quickly run through the table as it stands now. Just bearing in mind, this is the rundown before any fixtures have taken place on Sunday. Same detail applies. I'll do the top 10, and then Adie will run through the bottom half of the table. So Chelsea lead the way at the moment. Liverpool, Manchester United, and Everton make up those remaining Champions League spots. Brighton and Manchester City currently occupy those Europa League spots, and West Ham United are in that Europa Conference League spot. And that, again, that spot is all subject to change based upon cup winners and things like that. In 8th, Aston Villa, Arsenal, and Brentford make up the top half of the Premier League.
So for the bottom half, starting in 11th place, we've got Wolverhampton Wanderers, followed by Tottenham, Leicester, Watford, Crystal Palace, Leeds United, Southampton. And the bottom 3 from 18th, Burnley, 19th, Newcastle, and in 20th place, Norwich City.
Lovely stuff. And we are in a position now in most leagues where games have been played. So we are. I'm definitely doing this now. It could be controversial, but prediction-wise, I am still going with Chelsea to win the league. What about yourself?
I'm going with Liverpool. Still Liverpool.
Still Liverpool. Still Liverpool for there. In terms of the bottom 3, I am going to go with Norwich City. Apologies, but I think you will go out.
Ditto.
I don't know. I'm going to put my neck on the line. I honestly believe Newcastle may drop out.
I am going that way as well, to be honest. I just don't think it's... There's a lot of... The takeover talk won't go away.
No.
And the Mike Ashley... Yeah, it's going to be a rough season, I think, for them.
So I think we're in agreement for Norwich and Newcastle together.
Who's your 18th place in it?
Who's your 18th place?
Mine is going to be Watford.
Watford, okay. Yep. Depends on who they get in, obviously, but Watford.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Southampton. I think there's too many draws. They're drawing against the top teams, but too many draws and not enough wins could be the end game for them. So yeah, Southampton, Newcastle, and Norwich for me. Perfect. And then Watford for Adie, and Newcastle and Norwich. Fantastic. When we come back, it is the EFL Championship.
So Dan, EFL Championship, how did it go yesterday and obviously Friday night as well?
It was probably a great weekend, really, and the episodes we're going to call it this week is all change, not just because of managerial changes that have been throughout the leagues, but also it's just all changed. It doesn't matter. Just in terms of the leagues in general, I can't really put a name on it, but it did start on Friday night at the Bet365 Stadium. Stoke City won, West Bromwich Albion 0, and I've got to say, Stoke City were absolutely fantastic.
Deserved the win. They should have won by more, I think, to be honest.
They should have done, absolutely, yeah. They should have done massively. They did really well, and they have really, really showed that they are going to be there or thereabouts this season.
Yep.
In the Championship. As for West Brom, first loss of the season, it had to come to an end at some point, didn't it?
Absolutely.
I don't know. They looked tired.
Yeah, there wasn't. I didn't see enough fight. For me being a fan now, I didn't see enough fight from the lads on Friday. But like you said, the vigorous pressing game that Ismail plays, it could be taking it out on them a little bit.
Definitely, yeah. So yeah, Friday night it kicked off, and it was a cracking game, and Stoke really, really did well. And I highly anticipate Stoke being there or thereabouts.
Absolutely deserve the 3 points, no doubt.
Of the end of the season, like you said, Adie, it should have been more really for them on there. It's becoming a theme now, really, on this show. The early kickoff. I must say I was very surprised.
So was I when I saw
the scoreline, but it was fully deserved. Again, fully deserved after that bleak result earlier on in the week. Let me just for people that weren't aware for Coventry City. We are talking about Coventry. What was the score yesterday, Adie?
Yesterday, it was Coventry City 4, Fulham 1.
It
What a win.
was a second half performance that pretty much is making that City think something could happen now this season. I was out yesterday with my wife in Coventry, and we didn't go to the game, but we were out in Coventry yesterday. And just driving back after the game had finished, the smiles on people's faces, you could hear the chanting and everything. It is a really good time for Coventry at this present moment in time. You are third in the league, a second half masterclass, and I've got to say that Matson goal. Brilliant, absolute fantastic strike for there. And you know what? It should have been 4-0 because it was an own goal for Fulham, really. And other than that, yeah, Coventry City, doing really, really well. I don't want to sit here every week and sing the praises of Coventry City, but it's difficult not to. And I think earlier on in the week we spoke, didn't we? And we were shocked. And I think the people that I know that support Coventry were kind of shocked by the result at Luton in the week. But it just proves that this league, you can't really take a chance on.
It's the old saying, isn't it? Anybody can beat anybody in the Championship,
and that
literally
proved fully in the week, and it proved fully yesterday with that victory over Fulham. Fulham down to 5th in the table, still in those playoff spots, and Coventry City, you are 3rd. Where to next? Leaders, surely.
The league leaders got a 2-1 victory over Sheffield United, a resurgent Sheffield United as well. So much good win for Bournemouth there.
And that man got on the score sheet again yesterday. Billing got on the score sheet again yesterday, 2-1. Yep. Again, Bournemouth, you're 3 points clear now. You still haven't lost a game. Could they go all season? I'm sitting in our AD looking at the results for them, and I'm thinking, you know what, that opening day draw we had Bournemouth 2, West Brom 2 on the opening day of the season.
I think that was.
Yeah, that was a pretty good draw. But in terms of fixtures coming up for Bournemouth, I'm looking forward to that Stoke Bournemouth game, Tuesday the 19th of October.
That'll be an interesting game.
That's going to be it's going to be a good game. In terms of Sheffield United, I wouldn't be too disheartened. I think you've had a really good run of form recently. You've had 2 losses on the bounce. You lost in the week against Middlesbrough, but before that, you had a nice little run of games, got some goals in, but you're coming up against a Bournemouth side that are absolutely flying at the minute. And I'll get my prediction out of the way straight away for that. Bournemouth, for me, win this league, hands down, at this present moment in time for me.
I have to agree with that, to be honest, the way they're going.
They're just flying at the minute, and I really can't take away what Scott Parker's doing down there. He's doing a fantastic job for Bournemouth. Where to next, pal?
So the next game, it was Barnsley against Millwall. Finished Barnsley 0, Millwall 1. So Barnsley still really struggling this season so far. Barnsley in 22nd, bottom 3. Millwall currently lie in 11th place, mid-table.
Not bad, is it? Millwall? Yeah, Millwall fans ain't bad. 11th in the league. Barnsley fans, I think things aren't just going right at the minute under Marcus Shop. I'm not too sure how your pre-season went and things like that, but yeah, you're currently 22nd in the league, and by the sounds of it, you're clearly missing Mowatt's presence in your midfield for Barnsley. How do you feel your season will end, Barnsley fans? Will you drop down, or do you feel like you'll do what you've done pretty much in the last couple of seasons, have pretty much of a bad start, and then take the season away from you? So yeah, Barnsley losing yesterday to Millwall. Steve Cooper.
What a job he's done already. So Nottingham Forest got a fantastic 3-0 victory away to Birmingham yesterday. So is that 2 from 2 for Steve Cooper now?
Oh, I'm pretty sure it's more than that now.
I'm
just looking.
I'm pretty sure he's won 2 games at least.
I think since he's come, they haven't lost. They haven't lost. So, so we got Birmingham yesterday. They won 3-0. Beat Barnsley in the week 3-1. Drew against Millwall. And I'm pretty sure he was around but I don't think he was in charge. But yeah, Huddersfield 0, Nottingham Forest 2. But yeah, what a start. Unbeaten start for Steve Cooper.
Yep.
Where does that leave them at the minute?
So, Forest fans, you're currently in 17th place. You're away from that bottom 3.
Okay.
Where are we? Birmingham, 16th. So you've just caught up behind Birmingham now. So
I really thought, yeah, I think because of the run they've had recently, I honestly thought that they might be higher in that league, but it just shows how
yeah,
quite tight it is down that bottom end of
down
the
the bottom is
table.
tight. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Nottingham Forest fans, fantastic win again yesterday over Birmingham. Birmingham City, you are 16th. I think at the minute you're not having a great run at the moment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not 1 in 5.
Yeah, it's
One
been a
point in 5 as
bit
well.
awful spell recently for Birmingham. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the shocker for me was that Peterborough were fantastic when they played them a couple of weeks
You
ago,
were.
and they beat them 3-0. But yeah, your next fixture, Birmingham City fans, is a local derby on Friday, the 15th of October. Another Friday fixture for West Bromwich Albion, AD. Another one.
Another.
I know, tell me about it. But yeah, Birmingham City versus West Bromwich Albion at the Hawthorns, Friday, the 15th of October. Where are we going next? I believe there was a tasty Lancashire derby yesterday.
There was indeed. It was at Blackpool, so the Seasiders actually came out winners 2-1 at home against Blackburn Rovers. So Blackpool with the win there, put themselves up to 12th place, so literally mid-table. And Blackburn slipped a little bit out of the playoffs. They're currently 8th. Still been a great season, I think, for Blackburn overall. But yeah, slipped up a little bit there in the Lancashire derby.
What's their top scorer at the minute? What's his name?
Oh, Blackburn. It's Ben Brereton Diaz. He added the Diaz on there because
Another.
he qualified to play for Chile because of his grandparents,
Right. Okay.
and he's added Diaz
Um,
surname now
an-
on his shirt.
Another goal for him
Yeah,
yesterday.
he's banging them in this
Yeah,
season.
he is. I
It was a hat trick last week, wasn't it? I think.
definitely, and I think
Yeah.
if he keeps doing what he's doing at the minute, maybe January might be an interesting time for Blackburn Rovers to get some money in for him because he's quite young as well, isn't he?
I
The
think
lad.
didn't he start his career? He started at where did he start off at? Was it a Premier League team? He started in a youth team. I'm sure he did. I'll have a look actually, see where he
I'll
started.
check it out. I'll check it
Yeah.
out. But Neil Critchley, in terms of Neil Critchley for Blackpool, I've got to say, what an astounding job he's doing. He's doing for them at the minute. What did he say? 12th in the league.
Yeah, dead on 12th. Yeah.
You can't grumble that out really. So he was at Stoke City and Nottingham Forest.
That's it.
Yeah, so he played for Nottingham Forest between 2017 2019.
So he was in Stoke's youth team 2015. So he would have
That's
been there
correct.
when they're in the Premier League. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, and then for the people that are interested, he was actually born in Stoke for there, and like Adie said, he's got links to his family. So he was born. It was actually his mother.
Yeah, and it says when playing for Chile, he uses the name Benjamin Anthony Brereton Diaz, as Spanish names use both the father's surname and mother's surname. There we go.
There we go. And that's not your strange football fact of the week either. And we'll
It's
come on to
not.
that a little bit later on. But yeah, fantastic start for Blackpool, 12th in the league. Blackburn, you're still there or thereabouts in 8th position. But yeah, like I said, Neil Critchell doing a fantastic job with Blackpool, especially this is their first season back in the Championship for some time. Cracking result. Mick McCarthy.
Mick McCarthy. Yeah, Cardiff 0, Reading 1. Keeps the pressure on even more, doesn't it? Really.
It's how much longer does he last as Cardiff City manager? I watched the game the other night when West Brom played them.
And we're not on his side at all.
Yeah, they were not on his side. I think at one point, West Bromwich Albion fans have got a bit of history with Mick McCarthy after his Wolves days, but there was one point where all four sides of the stadium were singing.
I'm pretty sure I did hear
Sacked
them
in the morning.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just the Albion fans that were singing that; it was also the Cardiff City fans. But yeah, I don't see Mick McCarthy being there much longer. If I'm honest with you.
No.
But in terms of fixtures, Cardiff City fans, who have you got? Who have you got next? Oh, all I'm seeing is red. All I'm seeing is red. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 losses on the bounce. So that's 9, 10, 11, 12 goals conceded in 5. Absolutely. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal, Cardiff City. But yeah, and it moves us quite nicely onto the other Welsh side in the Championship.
Yeah. So Derby County, they got a 0-0 draw against Swansea. So definitely a point gained for Derby, I would say there. But Swansea, you're down there with Cardiff, 19th and 20th, both the Welsh rivals there.
I don't see relegation happening for either of them, to be honest.
Don't, to be honest, no. I think they'll both find their way out of it.
It's really daft to say, but I think Derby County is much at the bottom, and that's just because of the point deductions, and there's potential for another point deduction to come in.
Played well this season.
They are, and it's a testament to the team and Wayne Rooney himself, really, of how they're doing. It's going to be a struggle for them, but at the minute they are currently, in terms of, they're in positive points again, which is always a good thing, especially in this league. So 2 points, but yeah, you're currently 7 points off getting out of that relegation zone. So yeah, it's got to start picking up some wins quickly, because you are drawing quite a few as well. Grant McCann and Hull City, first time back in the championship again for a short time. Where are they currently in the table?
So currently in 21st place, and yesterday they picked up a brilliant 2-0 victory against Middlesbrough. I think have got Warnock in charge. He's a bit under pressure now, I think, as well.
Was that mid-table 15th, Middlesbrough, 2-0 loss yesterday. Well, a little bit of a Yorkshire derby, really, if you think about it that way.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I think they brought a nice little crowd. I forget what their stadium's called now. I still call it the K-Com. It's something different now.
It is a different name now, yeah. It's the MKM. I think it is. Sponsored by MKM, yeah.
Perfect, yeah. So, Hull City 2, Middlesbrough 0. Luton Town, we mentioned earlier, they got a fantastic win against Coventry City earlier on in the week. Played Huddersfield Town, I believe.
They did.
Yesterday.
Finished a 0-0 from against Huddersfield. So from, what was it, 5-0 midweek? Was it 5-0 midweek against?
5-0, yeah, 5-0 midweek.
0-0 against Huddersfield. But Luton currently in 13th place, Huddersfield in 7th. So probably a point gain for Luton, really.
Well, yeah, and like we said, it's one of those positions where Luton seems to be a team where they're quite happy going along as they are. They'll get some wins when they can, in terms of that. But Huddersfield, I'm quite shocked. Not shocked. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm surprised at how well they are doing after when they come down from the Premier League, Huddersfield. But you do find yourself in 7th, and hey, it'll be a great fairy tale again if Huddersfield Town can make their way back to the Premier League. And then the last 2 games were very high scoring. I wish I put these on some of my Super 6 yesterday, but I didn't. But yeah, let's start at Posh. Let's go to the Posh.
Yeah, so Peterborough, yeah, both the last 2 games had 5 goals in both games. So it finished Peterborough 2, Bristol City 3 in the first of the 2 games there. So Peterborough, you are currently in 23rd. Bristol City up to 9th place. Like we mentioned yesterday, they're quietly chugging along now, aren't they, Bristol?
Bristol City, yeah, definitely. And I've got to say, I'm surprised at Peterborough yesterday. They put up a fantastic performance on Wednesday night. They drew 0-0 with Bournemouth on Wednesday night, and that's no easy thing to do, especially when you're down that bottom end of the table. What did you say? The second bottom?
They're second bottom, yeah.
Second bottom in the league, Peterborough. So yeah, but again, you put up another performance really against a team that's up there and thereabouts. But yeah, more wins need to be coming your way. And then last but not least,
thriller at Loftus Road. So it was QPR 3, Preston North End 2. So QPR fans, you're currently in 6th, just in the playoffs, and Preston, you are currently in 18th place.
And Preston, that brings an end to what was draw after draw after draw after draw, and you know what? Some really good draws in there. Stoke, Birmingham, West Brom, Sheffield United, Bristol City. Some really good draws in there.
Really good points,
but that little unbeaten run has now come to an end for yourselves. Yesterday, QPR 3, Preston 2. Yeah, the Championship is still, in my eyes, probably the best league in the UK at the minute. In terms of the table, again, we'll run through the top half. So Bournemouth lead the way, West Bromwich Albion in 2nd, Coventry City in 3rd, Stoke, Fulham and QPR make up the playoff spots. Huddersfield, Blackburn, Bristol City, Reading, Millwall and Blackpool make up the top half.
And then the bottom half, so starting in 13th, we've got Luton Town, followed by Sheffield United, Middlesbrough, Birmingham City, Nottingham Forest, Preston, Swansea, Cardiff City and Hull. The bottom 3, so in 22nd, we've got Barnsley, followed by Peterborough, and then Derby County in 24th.
Lovely stuff. So prediction-wise, I've already mentioned Bournemouth. Are you in the same position, Bournemouth?
Yeah, Bournemouth going up, I reckon. Yeah.
Automatic promotion-wise, I'm going to stick my head on the line after what I saw on Friday night. I'm going to put Stoke
Really?
just for the time being. Yeah,
Okay.
just what I saw on Friday night. I really think they could be there or thereabouts, but I could say the same for Coventry City as well.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
On there.
Mine is Bournemouth and Coventry. That's
I'm
what
going to
I'm
be
thinking
biased
at
and
the
say
moment.
I hope it's us because I really don't want playoffs. I really
No.
don't want it. As much as they're exciting and things like that, I really don't fancy the playoffs because we don't have a great record
Nope.
in the playoffs. So I'd rather leave it there. Who's your automatic?
Yeah, it's Bournemouth and Coventry.
Bournemouth and Coventry.
Can't see
Cool.
anything stopping Coventry at the moment. But as we know, this league is crazy and it could all turn around.
Definitely, yeah. In terms of the bottom three, then I think it's going to be too tough for Derby.
Yeah.
I think they will do. I think they will have a good season in terms of results, but I just think it's too much, especially if they get that further 9-point deduction as well for themselves. So I see Derby. I see Peterborough. I do, and I think those games, like we said, they drew 0-0 against Bournemouth, put in some good performances, but I just think maybe they'll tire
Yeah.
themselves out. So Peterborough for me, and at the minute, I think Barnsley and Hull might scrape it. Barnsley have a tendency of doing it. I'm going to go with one of the Welsh clubs,
Mm.
and I'm going to go with Cardiff
Okay.
for the time being. Again, these are just little early on predictions. It's not to say that they're set in stone. Obviously, it's just our predictions for now. Well, mine anyway. And again, prove me wrong, Cardiff City fans. Maybe a change is needed. Maybe Mick McCarthy does need to leave and get a new manager in. How about yourself, mate?
Mine, Derby County. Unfortunately, I'd love to see you stay up after the season of turmoil so far, but I think you're going down. Unfortunately, Peterborough as well. Just don't think you've got enough to stay up this season. Now the final place, I'm gonna go with Barnsley to go down. I think there's been too much change at the club, from the manager to losing Mowat as well. Big player and big manager. Don't think they're going to stay up this time.
Lovely stuff. When we come back, EFL, League One.
So, EFL League One, how are we looking at the moment? How was it over the weekend?
There was another old Premier League fixture again that conducted itself in League One, and that was down at Fratton Park. And what a win! What a win! Portsmouth love playing Sunderland, whether that's in a cup or in the league. Portsmouth ran out yesterday, guys, 4-0 over Sunderland yesterday down at Fratton Park. So a very, very good win, I have got to say, that one. The conditions were terrible. I think the conditions were pretty much terrible everywhere in the UK yesterday. But yeah, for Portsmouth, it was, at one point it looked like that game might be called off due to waterlog and things like that. But it persevered and they got the win at the end, 4-0. And they, you know what, they adapted to the conditions really well. There's nothing more really to say. Portsmouth, that was a much needed win for yourselves yesterday, especially after what we've said over the recent months, the recent weeks, in terms of your results. You're just not getting the greatest points with the teams that you should be beating. But yesterday was definitely a turning point, and hopefully you can build on from that now for yourselves. But yeah, Portsmouth 4, Sunderland 0. Where does that leave Portsmouth, Adie?
So, Portsmouth currently in 11th place. The defeat for Sunderland, they're still in second, but 4-0 defeat to Portsmouth, hell of a defeat. They need to come back quite quick from that, I think.
I'm just going to, for those interested, I'm just going to look at their head-to-head because Portsmouth do really well against them. I think the last time they met in the league, Sunderland did run out 2-0 victors, but previously to that, Portsmouth won, then a Sunderland win. But yeah, Portsmouth have a really good record against them. And well, saying that, actually, just looking at it, it's pretty much equal across the park, actually. 3 wins, 3 draws, and 3 wins in the last 9 for themselves. But yeah, great result yesterday. Let's start with let's make our way down. Let's make our way down the fixtures in League One. So who was the first on the list yesterday, Paul?
Accrington Stanley, they got a 2-1 victory against Ipswich Town. So Accrington in 10th. Ipswich Town currently in 19th place.
So that really good run for Ipswich Town comes to an end.
Yep.
I think was that 3 unbeaten for Ipswich
I think
Town
so, yeah.
yesterday. So yeah, that comes to an end. But for Accrington, role reversal because they've had a really poor run of form lately. They've had some tough teams that they've played in between them, but you know what? That's a fantastic win yesterday over Ipswich Town, who were flying up until that point. So yeah, good one there. How about the Dons? So we're talking about
AFC
Wimbledon.
Wimbledon,
Wimbledon,
yeah.
yeah.
They got a 1-1 draw at home to Burton. So AFC Wimbledon in 14th and Burton in 9th.
And that was a much needed point really for Burton yesterday. They were three losses on the bounce in the league, losses to Rotherham, Shrewsbury, and Plymouth Argyle. So that was a really valuable point yesterday because we were talking about them, weren't they? They were up in
Yeah.
the playoff spots, weren't they, early on in the season? But those run of results hasn't helped them. Where does that leave them now in the table?
Yeah, so Burton in 9th currently, just outside the playoffs, really.
And then Wimbledon.
Wimbledon in 14th.
14th. So yeah, Wimbledon, you were flying high, weren't you, at the start of the season? Now dropped down to 14th in the league. There, let's head over to what I believe is now called the University of Bolton Stadium. How did they get on yesterday?
So Bolton Wanderers finished 2-1 winners against Shrewsbury Town. So Bolton currently sat in 7th place, just outside the playoffs, and Shrewsbury down in 23rd place, not having a good start to the season at all.
No, so that's 2 losses now on the bounce for Shrewsbury Town. Did pick up. They did have a nice little run actually. They did go up until those 2 losses. They'd gone a fair few games unbeaten actually. Picked up a good win against Wimbledon, good point against Sheffield Wednesday, and so forth. But yeah, for Bolton Wanderers, yeah, you're doing all right. 2 wins on the bounce now. So that was Charlton and Shrewsbury after a couple of defeats that you had earlier on there. Let's head down to Whaddon Road.
Yep, so Cheltenham now Rotherham 2. So Cheltenham currently in 17th place. Rotherham currently, where are they? They're actually quite high, aren't they? To 4th. So yeah, another good win for Rotherham in the playoffs area there.
Fantastic. So yeah, looking at Cheltenham Town fans, that's 3 losses now on the bounce, and against teams that are very high up in the league. So don't take too disheartened there. So you lost to Wigan, Sunderland, and Rotherham in the last 3. However, you did previous to that beat Charlton and Oxford United. So you are, in my eyes, you are having a great season. Currently in 17th position after promotion. On that one, let's go to Gresty Road.
Yep. So this one was Crewe versus Cambridge. It finished Crewe 2, Cambridge 2. So Crewe currently 22nd place, Cambridge in 15th, so a point earned for Crewe, I'd say there.
Fantastic, and you know what? It goes along with the status quo. They've drew 3 on the bounce now, Crewe. Rotherham, Plymouth, and then Cambridge United yesterday. So 3 draws on the bounce for yourself. For Cambridge United fans, that was a draw yesterday, and then previously in the week you did lose to Gillingham, and then previous to that you did pick up a draw. So you're having like some really good scattered results. And where does that leave them again, pal? 15th.
Yeah.
Cambridge.
So yeah, that's right. Yeah. So Cambridge in 15th, Crewe in 22nd.
Fantastic. And let's head back to Yorkshire.
So Doncaster Rovers, it was a 2-1 victory against MK Dons. Doncaster still bottom, but that massive win.
Definitely. Yeah. Who was that again? Sorry.
MK Dons.
MK Dons. So yeah, tale of two halves of the table really there, isn't it? Doncaster bottom of the league, MK Dons, you are flying in the championship. In terms of Doncaster, that was yeah, like Adie just said, that was a massive win after 2 losses, especially in particular when you did pick up that first win of the season against Morecambe a couple of weeks ago for yourselves. In terms of MK Dons, that just brings an end. It brings an end to, if anything, a fantastic run of games. I'm just counting now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games unbeaten. So that brings an end to your 8-game unbeaten start to the season. Let's head up to just north of Blackpool. Let's go to Fleetwood.
Yep. So Fleetwood Town 1, Charlton 2. Much needed win for Charlton there, but yeah, it's very close between them two. Charlton in 21st, Fleetwood in 20th, but fantastic win for Charlton.
So that still leaves Charlton in the relegation zone.
Just in the bottom 4, yeah, 21st.
So
But they
3-1
need
in
that
Charlton,
win.
yeah. Let's have a look. So let's have a look at the results previously for you guys. Yep. So that brought that loss yesterday. But previous to that, Fleetwood, you again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games. 6 games unbeaten previous to that. That's crazy to think, actually. They're 20th in the table, but they were 6 unbeaten.
Yeah, exactly.
Previous to that, you
crazy.
drew against MK Dons, Cambridge, Sunderland, beat Rotherham, drew against Plymouth, and then beat Cheltenham. That's crazy to think that you are down where you are in the table. In terms of Charlton, that win yesterday, like Adie said, that was much needed, especially in the week. You lost to Bolton Wanderers in the week, and then previous to that, you had 2 draws. So a win's a win, and those points are valuable at any stage of the season, but more particular now. Let's head down to the Priestfield.
So it finished Gillingham 0, Wigan 2. Wigan win again. Simple as that, really.
There's nothing really much more to say. Yeah, Wigan win again. However, we make it sound like it's been easy for Wigan, really. They lost to Sheffield Wednesday earlier on in the week.
Yeah.
And then, previous to that, they were pretty much unbeaten, bar from that opening day loss to Sunderland there. Gillingham, you are, where did you say, 18th in the league?
Gillingham for 18th and Wigan top, yeah.
So that brings an end to a 3-game unbeaten run with a win against Cambridge earlier on in the week. Let's head to Sincil Bank.
Yeah, so it finished Lincoln City 2, Plymouth 2.
Caught that on the highlights this morning. Very, very late penalty scored by Scully for Lincoln City yesterday. And where does that leave them in the table, Pam?
So Lincoln City currently in 16th. Plymouth, you're still in the playoff places in 3rd. So still going for the playoffs there.
Good stuff. Lincoln City, a couple of scattered results really. Wins, losses, and draws in the last sort of 5 games. Plymouth, your unbeaten run still goes on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games unbeaten. Oh, sorry, 7 games, 8 games, 9, 10. 10 games unbeaten. You're still 10 games unbeaten. So that unbeaten run is still going for Plymouth Argyle. And you know what? 3rd in the league. What a great season for Plymouth Argyle fans.
It's been fantastic.
Under the stewardship of Ryan Lowe. Let's head to Hillsborough. This was the first time that these 2 teams have played each other in the league for 30 years.
So this one was Sheffield Wednesday 1, Oxford United 2. Defeat for Sheffield Wednesday, that means they're in 12th. Oxford United up to 8th. So pushing towards playoffs, I think, Oxford, by the looks of it.
Yeah. So that brings an end to Sheffield Wednesday's unbeaten run. And that win yesterday for Oxford just extends that now to 3 unbeaten. So what's that? Oxford's 8th, Sheffield Wednesday, 12th in the league.
Yeah.
Tough. They've tough start. Darren I think Owls fans will have confidence in Darren Moore to get them through that season. And then last but not least, down to Adams Park in what was an absolute thriller, according to the highlights.
Yeah, so it finished Wycombe Wanderers 4, Morecambe 3, 7-goal thriller. Means Wycombe are in the playoffs. They're 5th after that win. And Morecambe, you're in 13th. Still been a good season, but 13th place.
In terms of Wycombe 4, Morecambe 3, that was a cracking game yesterday.
Yeah, great game.
In terms of results, Wycombe, that leaves you in 5th. When it comes to Morecambe, we will say this every week. They're our little adopted team for this season. I think having been the first season in this level of English football, 13th. I think you're doing really well. That brings an end to Morecambe's recent little 3-game unbeaten spell, and that's Wycombe 2 wins on the bounce for yourself. So prediction-wise, pal, who's your top 2 to go up?
Top 2, for me, it's still Wigan and Sunderland. Top 2, absolutely.
I can't see past them. They'll battle out for whoever wins the league itself.
Top, yeah,
absolutely. So Wigan and Sunderland, no doubts in my mind. I'm struggling with the bottom 4. Doncaster may get out of it. It's still early days. The 4 teams that I think: Shrewsbury, Crewe, Gillingham, and I will say Doncaster. Yeah, I will say Doncaster.
It's pretty much on the ball for me as well. I was looking at Gillingham thinking they'll struggle getting the bottom 4. Doncaster, Shrewsbury, and probably Crewe as well. Yep.
It's a tough league, yeah, because for those that aren't aware, 3 come down from the Championship, but 4 go down from League One into League Two, and then obviously 4 come up from League Two. On that one, fantastic League One as ever, bring in much more excitement, and Wycombe Wanderers, yeah, and more goals against that keeps coming for them. Great stuff. So when we come back, it will be League Two.
So, League Two, how did it go this weekend?
So League Two, just looking at the fixtures now. So we'll start with the league leaders who are still steamrolling their way through it. Up north, they went yesterday, so they went to Carlisle. It was Carlisle 0, Forest Green Rovers 2. Watching the highlights this morning, it was actually quite funny because the owner of Forest Green Rovers actually didn't sit in the director's box because he doesn't want to wear a tie, and it's mandate that you have to wear a tie in the director's box at Carlisle United. So he sat in the away end at Carlisle yesterday. So another great win for Forest Green Rovers. Over to you, pal. How did Harrogate do?
Harrogate Town, they got a 2-1 victory away to Oldham yesterday.
So tell of two R's, really, isn't it? Oldham, after getting a win earlier on, which was much needed for them, and then Harrogate, second in the league, still doing really well. Still doing really well for Harrogate Town. That's 3 games now unbeaten for yourselves. In terms of Oldham, that's that loss. It would have been nice for them to win yesterday, I think, after that victory over Rochdale last weekend. But yeah, Oldham, you find yourself still in the relegation zones, but you're not bottom. You're now second bottom in League One. My surprise team so far this season, at Vale Park. How did they go yesterday?
Yeah, Port Vale got a cracking 3-2 victory at home to Leyton Orient. They're third place in the automatic playoffs. Beat Leyton Orient, who are fourth. So yeah, great game.
Definitely a top end of the table clash between those two. Port Vale with the win yesterday, and that is 4 on the bounce. That's 4 wins on the bounce for Port Vale. That leaves them in third position. In terms of Leyton Orient, that brings an end to your unbeaten run. Previous to that, you were 5 games unbeaten in League Two. Fantastic. Over to who else is in the playoffs? Well, there was a big game. I'd like to say it's the M4 derby, actually. But it was Bristol Rovers and Swindon. How did that end up yesterday?
Yeah, so Bristol Rovers versus Swindon. It was Bristol Rovers 1, Swindon 3.
There's only so much time that Joey Barton will remain in this position, especially where Bristol Rovers are in the league in 20th position. I do remember when they dropped out of the Football League a while ago, actually. It's funny because they were playing the likes of the Nuneaton, who we bring because they are my local non-league club. But they were playing the Nuneaton Borough some time ago, and I don't think Bristol Rovers fans will be wanting to drop back out of the league and play non-league football again. So yeah, a big task in hand for Bristol Rovers. In terms of Swindon under Bengana, they're doing all right, aren't they? 5th in the league in the playoffs.
Doing really well, yeah. 5th in the playoffs, occupying that spot. Good win for them, yeah, definitely.
Lovely jubbly. Over to let's go down south. Let's head to Devon. Let's go to the other St James's Park, which is Exeter.
Yeah, so it finished Exeter City 2, Walsall 2. I'd say that's a very good point earned for Walsall there, because Exeter are in the playoffs in 6th. Walsall towards the bottom of the table, aren't they?
That's it, yeah. So, like you said, Exeter in the playoffs, Walsall down in 21st position. There was high expectations at Walsall, new management, plenty of players that brought in during the summer, but it's just not gelled as well as you like. Again, that's a Midland contingent club that we don't really want to drop out of the Football League. The more the merrier for the Midlands lot there. But yeah, a 2-2 draw, you know what, Adie, you're right. That was a valuable point yesterday for those. Let's head to a team that's doing really well after their first season back in the Football League last season. They headed to Mansfield yesterday. Let us know.
Barrow. Yes, they picked up a vital 1-0 victory away to Mansfield. Mansfield in 22nd place, Barrow in 7th place.
Mansfield, you are struggling. You
Yes,
are struggling, yeah. 22nd in the league, Mansfield. But Barrow, you are in the playoffs. And you know what? Let's mention this. We love an underdog on this. Harrogate Town in second, Barrow in the playoffs. Those two teams came up last season, had their first stints back in the Football League, or for Harrogate's position, that was their first ever season in the Football League, and they're in
yeah,
second and Barrow in seventh. So it's really good to see these clubs that come up from non-league doing really well in that position. And that just brings me on nicely, really. Let's head over to Northampton for the other team that's back in the Football League.
absolutely. So yeah, Northampton 0, Sutton United 2. What a win!
Finding their feet now, Sutton United. That step up. It was a bit tough, weren't it, earlier on in the season for
Yeah,
Sutton United.
tough start.
But that's 2 wins on the bounce now. 2 great wins on the bounce, really. It's a shame that you lost to Exeter because that unbeaten run would have been quite nice for yourself. But you find yourself in 11th position in EFL League Two, and Northampton are just above them, right?
Yeah, in 10th. So great win.
Good
What a
little
win!
I think that was a good test. I think that was a good test for
Yeah,
both yesterday. Northampton fans would probably expected a win yesterday, and Sutton fans were probably thinking, you know what, let's give it a good go. We've had some good wins lately. Let's see if we can get another one. And they did just that yesterday. So handling the pressure really well in EFL League Two. Let's head to let's go back to Yorkshire, which was a Yorkshire Lancashire all affair yesterday at Bradford.
yeah. So it was Bradford City 2, Rochdale 0.
So what's that? Bradford in 8th.
Yep,
Rochdale, you are in
in 16th.
16th
Yep,
position. So yeah, great win there for Bradford City yesterday on the march to get yourselves back into League One
seem to be on the
after
march
some
now, don't
time
they? Definitely.
away. Let's head. They are, yeah, they are indeed. In terms of their recent results, that was a win that was needed yesterday, really, because they've had a couple of losses on the bounce. That was their first win since August, so it tells you a bit of a story there for Bradford City. However, they still find themselves in 8th. Really strange season so far.
It is a strange league, isn't it?
Absolutely. In terms of Rochdale, that was 3 losses now. Or say that 2 losses on the bounce in the league for yourselves. Let's head to Essex and Colchester.
So Colchester United 0, Salford 2. A win for Gary Bowyer's men.
A win for Salford, a loss for Colchester. Where does that leave Colchester in the league now?
So Colchester in 18th, and Salford, you find yourselves in 15th.
So for Colchester United fans, that loss, yeah, it's a pretty scattered season for you guys. Previous to that, you drew against Swindon and then lost to Crawley. For Salford and your contingent, that win was probably much needed, really. Previous to that, you drew in last weekend. So yeah, that's 2 unbeaten though. That's 2 unbeaten. Things are going quite nicely for them now, with Walsall next in the league. Yeah, I just want to quickly touch on this one. So since 2017, Newport County have been under the leadership of Michael Flynn. And a couple of days ago, himself and the board made the decision, and it was all amicable, which is always good to see. That it was probably time for him to have a fresh start, really, somewhere else, or just take time away from football, maybe for a little bit. But you know what? He had a really good. I think under Michael Flynn, Newport County became that team that loved a shock in the cup. He led them to a great escape, which was always good as well. I'm just gonna bring up actually the teams that he beat along the way. But what was the result yesterday? How did Newport County do yesterday?
So yeah, Newport got a cracking win. 3-0 victory at home to Scunthorpe United.
So 3-0 win. Scunthorpe United fans, that still leaves you bottom of the table. Yeah. Can yourselves and Oldham Athletic get out of there? You know what? In my eyes, you're teams that I've pretty much all my life known to be in the Football League, really. And Oldham Athletic, God, in the early part of the days, you were a Premier League
Premier
club.
League.
Exactly. So, but yeah, Newport 3, Scunthorpe 0. Newport, that leaves you in 12th position. And I'm just looking now, highlights for Michael Flynn. Obviously, we mentioned the Great Escape as well. Victory over Leeds United, Leicester City, and Middlesbrough in the FA Cup. So victories over those teams. They also played games against Tottenham Hotspur and Manchester City. Carabao Cup games against West Ham and Newcastle, and then 2 Sky Bet League Two playoff finals at Wembley, but they just never made that step to League One under Michael Flynn. So it'll be interesting to see who they get in next. But Michael Flynn, where does he go next on his journey in football? Last 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
Take away, Adie, over to you.
Stevenage 2, Hartlepool 0.
Stevenage 2, Hartlepool 0. So what's that? Stevenage, I believe, when I saw 17th. Hartlepool still in the mid-table.
13th, yeah.
13th. I still early doors, weren't it? They were looking like they were making themselves early contenders for promotion after promotion themselves last season. But I think staying up. It doesn't matter who you are when you come up to this league from non-league. I still honestly, I said I'd look into it. I will find out when was the last team to get promoted. Or let me know if you know when was the last team to get promoted from the conference to go straight back down, because I can't recall one for a very, very long time. The teams that come up from the conference tend to do really, really well. And yeah, we're seeing that with Harrogate, Barrow, Sutton United, Hartlepool. Yeah. We're seeing that with these teams, you know what I mean? So they are doing well. So another cracking league, League Two, but I can't see past Forest Green Rovers at the minute. And unfortunately, I'm struggling with the bottom 2, but I think Mansfield. I'm going to go with Mansfield and Oldham. I think Scunthorpe should have the experience to get themselves out of this mess. They weren't long ago when they were actually in a championship club themselves.
It wasn't long ago, no.
Scunthorpe, but unfortunately, Oldham fans, I honestly can't see a way out of it, and I believe you may be that first Premier League club to drop out of the Football League after having been in the Premier League for that time. So yeah, I can't see. How about yourself, Paul?
I have to agree. I think Mansfield are going to slip with Oldham. Yeah,
with Oldham. In terms of your champions,
getting themselves sorted. Champions, it's Forest Green Rovers.
Forest Green, yeah, and I'd really love to see Harrogate Town go up as well. I'd actually like to see Port Vale go up as well. I think they've languished in that bottom tier of Football League for quite some time. And then the last but not least, Tranmere 2, Crawley 1. Don't worry, we did not forget you. Crawley and Tranmere played yesterday, and a 39-year-old got the winner yesterday for Tranmere Rovers. You are in 9th. You are pushing for those playoff spots, and Crawley Town, you are currently in 14th position, and that brings an end to EFL League 2. And when we come back, non-league football.
Welcome back. So, non-league football. How are we looking this week?
Nice and simple, really. I think it'll be nice and simple just to run through this as quick as we can. So there was a full round of fixtures in the National League Premier yesterday. There were a handful of North and South, so we'll leave the North and South out this week, but simply because there was some FA Cup qualifying round games. But in terms of the table, Grimsby Town lead the way in the table. Who did they play yesterday?
They played Dover, and they absolutely annihilated them. It finished Grimsby Town 6, Dover 0.
Not going well for Dover. They did start the season with a -12 deduction with the things that were happened last season and not fulfilling games and blah blah blah. So Dover Athletic is looking to struggle for you guys this season. But Grimsby Town, after having coming down from last season from League Two, you are sitting top of the table for yourselves. Next up in second place is Dagenham and Redbridge. How did they get on yesterday?
They actually struggled to a 3-2 defeat to Altrincham, who lie in 6th place. So it looks like they're chasing the pack there, Altrincham.
Definitely, yes. Altrincham are doing really well. They're in the second part of the playoffs. Dagenham and Redbridge in second. Chesterfield are in third. They didn't play yesterday. The TV game last night, I caught glimpses of it. It wasn't a cracker, but Boreham Wood in fourth played Eastleigh, and what was the score, Adie?
Finished 1-1.
1-1, Eastleigh 1, Boreham Wood 1. So that Boreham Wood, that leaves you in fourth position. FC Halifax Town, you're having a fantastic season. It can't be said the same for their opponents yesterday.
Yeah, so it was Barnet 0, Halifax Town 0.
For those that don't know, yeah, Halifax Town, you are in fifth, but Barnet, you are currently just outside the relegation zone in the National Premier League. And then the last fixture in terms of the playoff, because like we said, we're just going to focus on the top end of the table. Nottingham Notts County, how did they do yesterday? I think it was
They
awful result
were
actually.
awful yesterday. It finished Notts County 1, Woking 4.
Notts County 1, Woking 4. Okay, yeah, not the greatest of results for them yesterday. Just to someone mentioned the other day actually how and it shows how non-league isn't really publicised. Someone was asking me the other day how Southend United are doing because they dropped out last season. So Southend United lost yesterday to Solihull Moors. So Solihull Moors 2, Southend United 0. And that actually leaves Southend United in the relegation zone
Oh,
in the
wow.
National League Premier. So yeah, for that person that asked me earlier on in the week, that's where they currently are in the table. That's really it. Yeah, that's really it for the National League. Aldershot. There was another game yesterday. Aldershot Town and Wrexham, but unfortunately that game was abandoned due to the horrific conditions that were seen up and down the country due to the weather. But other than that, that was the National League Premier. Let's just quickly move on to the FA Cup. Third qualifying rounds yesterday. So there is one more qualifying round to go. But all I'm going to do is I'm just going to congratulate the teams that have made it through to the next round of the FA Cup. So apologies to Adie. I know you haven't got access to these in front of you,
That's fine.
but I'll quickly run through these. So yes,
I can see.
yeah. So in terms of the teams that won yesterday, Peterborough Sports, AFC Sudbury, Ebbsfleet United, Banbury United, Bath City, Boston United, Bromsgrove Sporting, Chelmsford City, Hastings United, Buxton, Curzon Ashton, Dorking Wanderers, Folkestone Invicta, Guiseley, Hampton and Richmond, Harrow Borough, Havant and Waterlooville, Hayes and Yedding, Hungerford Town, Leamington. So Leamington, there you go, Eddie. There's one for you.
Yeah,
Leamington made it through. Tamworth, Dartford, Hereford, who were struggling, and we mentioned them a couple of weeks ago. They're through to the next round. Pontefract Collieries, Morpeth Town, Gateshead, Stamford, Stratford Town, Yate Town, and York City. There is one fixture today, and it is Jersey Bulls versus Chertsey Town. Plus, we just want to wish all the best to the teams that do have replays that will be played in the week. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that fourth qualifying round draw because that will bring in the top tier of non-league football, and then we're getting ever so close now to the first round proper, where League One and League Two teams join as well. So in terms of the non-league roundup, quickly, Adie, let's talk about. I know you've got a bit of history actually with Chesterfield. How do you see Chesterfield doing?
Chesterfield, yeah, I lived there for quite some time. My family are based up there as well. Currently third in the main playoff places. I'd be nice to see them go up. Hopefully they can keep the run going. That'd be good.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they've been out of the league now for a good couple of years.
I always
now.
think of them as a league club as well. So it'd be nice to see them back in the league.
Definitely, and the reason they didn't play yesterday is simply because it was a catch-up. They had played a couple of more games than everyone else, so they're pretty much everyone's now on 9 points, 9 games, sorry, played for that one. So yeah, so great stuff. That's non-league. When we come back, it is time for Adie's strange football in fact of the week.
So, my strange football in fact of this week. Have you ever wondered which football club has the longest name in the world? That honour.
I would never. Yeah, you know what? I would never even think about it. And you know what? My first thought would be that that Welsh town.
Yeah, that's what my thought
that would be my first thought. But go on, give it to us.
However, the honour goes to the Dutch football club. Apologies for any pronunciation here, but I'm going to go
I'll try
for
and
it.
help you. I'll try and help you.
So it's Nuit Opgaven, Attij, Dorgan, Aangenaam door Vermaak en Nuttig door Ontspanning, Combinatie Breda, otherwise known as NAC Breda of the Dutch Eredivisie. They hold the longest name in the world for a football club.
I'm not going to sit here and say a lie and say that I didn't know that. I did. That is a mouthful, and you know what? If anyone is Dutch, I think you did quite a good job actually. They did up until quite recently shorten that even further
Oh, really?
to Node Advendo Combinati Breda. So Node Advendo, which is NAC Breda.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. That is the full original name of them. And fair play to you. You know what? You smashed it. You absolutely smashed it.
It's a hell of a name. A mouthful,
Really
that.
good. That was really good. How are they doing? Let's have a look. NAC Breda. Where are you? Oh, not doing too great. Is that the second? Is that the second league? They are.
Oh, they're in the second league.
Yeah, they're in the second division now. Yeah, second division.
They
Not
were
doing
in
too.
the Eredivisie.
They were. Yeah, they're not doing too great actually. Not doing too great in that league. Currently 17th is NAC Breda. I love that. That is a really long name. Longest football club name. I'm going to see if there's another one. And funnily enough, you know what? They're up there as well. That Welsh club that we would.
Really?
For the Welsh listeners, I am not even gonna try it. Not even gonna try it on that one. But what is the longest name football team in the world? And you are, yeah. There are a fair few actually. Fair few in terms of apparently English football. There's just too many. There's far too many. I ain't even gonna attempt it. But you know what? You bang on. That one is the longest one out there. I love this segment. I really do.
Just digging out facts, in it.
Definitely, yeah. And I don't know whether we could try and push this even further and see how far we can actually take this one. Maybe maybe some stats. Maybe we've got the strange footballing fact. Maybe let's do a crazy stat as well. Let me have a look at that. But you do the fact one, because I do enjoy those ones, and see what interesting stats that I can bring into play as well. Thanks, Adie. That's a great one again. When we come back, it's time to just finish off the show, and we will have a look at the European, how everyone's doing in Europe.
So, European football. Should we start with the Bundesliga?
Yeah, can do. Yeah, you. Yeah, I can't really speak about the Bundesliga because my team aren't in it. So I'll let you take over and.
What we'll do for the Bundesliga, I'll go through the results from the weekend. So we had Friday, a game on Friday, which was between Cologne and Greuther Fürth, finished 3-1 to Cologne. On Saturday, we had Dortmund versus Augsburg. That was a 2-1 win for Dortmund. Wolfsburg won, Mönchengladbach 3, Stuttgart 3, Hoffenheim 1, Hertha Berlin 1, Freiburg 2, and the evening kickoff was Leipzig 3, VfL Bochum 0 in that game.
And then today,
a game to.
There's 3. Yeah, you got 3 today.
Mainz versus Union Berlin, 2:30. That's coming up. Then we've got Bayern Munich versus Eintracht Frankfurt, and then we've got Arminia Bielefeld versus Leverkusen at 6:30 this evening.
Lovely stuff. So for the table, is that Bayern? Bayern still top?
As it stands, let me just bring up the table. Yeah, so Bayern Munich are top, Dortmund second, Freiburg in third, having a cracking season they are.
Oh, definitely.
Bayern Leverkusen make up the fourth Champions League place, followed by Wolfsburg in fifth and Cologne in sixth.
Lovely stuff.
Then, towards the bottom of the table, the relegation playoff place is Bielefeld, followed by Bochum and Greuther Fürth.
Lovely stuff. Over to Bundesliga 2. So yeah, same detail really. There was some fixtures on Friday nights. Al 1, Hamburg 1, Werder Bremen 3, Heidenheim 0. Then we also had Dusseldorf 2, Paderborn 3, Holstein Kiel 0, Hansa Rostock 2, Jan Regensburg 2, Karlsruhe 2, and Nuremberg 0, Hanover 96 0. With some fixtures today, which include my club, which there are some fixtures at the minute. So Sandhausen 1, Darmstadt 6. Wow. Schalke are currently leading 3-0 over at Ingolstadt, so that's put a smile on my face. And St. Pauli 2, Dynamo Dresden 0. There's about 10 minutes left in those 3 games at the minute. So in terms of the table on how it stands at the moment, St. Pauli are now top. St. Pauli are now top of the league, so we've got a new leader in Bundesliga 2, Jan Regensburg in second. Paderborn in third, and then Schalke are currently in fourth. And then at the bottom, it's as you were, as what I said over the recent weeks, Sandhausen, Au and Ingolstadt in the bottom three. Let's go to Scotland.
Scottish Premier League. So
I don't know what you've got, so you can do the table. I've got the results if you want to do the table.
Yeah, that's fine. Yep, go ahead.
So in terms of the results, yesterday we had. If I can find it, he said, didn't he? I shot myself in the foot here. I did have the results.
I've got the results here if you want me.
You've got the results. You go for the results. I'll go through the table.
Cool. So yesterday's games in the SPL, we had Dundee United 1, Ross County 0. Heart of Middlo. I'm not going to go. Just Hearts. Just Hearts 2. Motherwell 0. Livingston 0. St Mirren 1. And then St Johnstone 3. Dundee 1.
Perfect. We've had a full time.
Today's games. We have had a full time today, have we? Oh,
we have. Yep. Aberdeen 1, Celtic 2. So Celtic got back to winning ways. We've got another fixture, which is Rangers versus Hibs a little bit later on. So Hearts, you are currently 2 points top of the league. Bearing in mind, Rangers and Hibs do play later on today. Motherwell in fourth, Dundee United in fifth, and Celtic in sixth, with Dundee, bottom of the league. Over to Serie A.
Yeah, so Serie A. So the results from Saturday, we had Salernitana 1, Genoa 0. They're a new team. I can tell they're a new team because I've never heard that name before. They must have come up from Serie B very recently. Torino 0, Juventus 1, another win for Juventus. Sassuolo 1, Inter Milan 2. There was a game on Friday actually, which was Cagliari 1, Venezia 1. Today, there's currently a game.
We've had a full time. We've had a full time.
Yeah,
we've had a full time. So Bologna 3, Lazio 0. That's a fantastic win for Bologna. And then there's 2 games that are currently very early doors. Hellas Verona 1, Spezia 0, Sampdoria 0, Udinese 0. And then fixtures for the rest of the day: Fiorentina, Napoli. Ooh, that's a tasty game. AS Roma, Jose Mourinho's boys, go to play Empoli, and actually another tasty fixture tonight: Atalanta versus AC Milan from Serie A. So how does the table look at this present moment in time?
So as it looks at the moment, we've currently got Napoli, who are top of the league, followed by Inter Milan in second, AC Milan in third, having a good season. AS Roma in fourth, that makes it the Champions League places. The UEFA Europa League, should I say? Fifth place is Fiorentina, and then in the Europa Conference League place in sixth is Lazio. Juventus are eighth. They are they're catching ground a little bit now, I think.
Looking better, yeah. I think that's 4 wins on the bounce, including that win against Chelsea in the Champions League earlier on in the week. Fantastic. La Liga, let's make it nice and simple for La Liga. In terms of the table, it's Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Real Sociedad, Sevilla, Osasuna, Real Vallecano, Atletico Bilbao, and then Barcelona are in ninth. There are some games today. Real Madrid are playing Espanyol today, Sociedad Getafe, and Sevilla playing Granada. But I believe yesterday there was a big result in Spain, and I believe it was Atletico Madrid beat Barcelona. They beat them, and it was 2-0.
Yeah. So the reigning champions beat Barcelona 2-0.
They did indeed, and I struggled to see how well.
Ain't gonna last.
Yeah, I think new manager will be coming in very shortly at Barcelona.
I think there's a lot of politics in play at that club.
There is, and La Liga this season, there seems to be a lot of tension in La Liga this season for a number of different reasons. But yeah, we'll leave them to it. But we will bring the table for that one, and the same for Liga 1. PSG, they still lead the way. Lens, Nice, Marseille, Angers, and Lorient lead the way in the European spots in that league. Something that completely has passed my mind, just covering this European section. Obviously, there were some games in the Champions League and so forth in the week. So just quickly run through those. I'm not going to run through them all. I'm just going to run through the English contingent, the British contingent, obviously, that are there. But it all started on Tuesday night. PSG 2, Manchester City 0. Messi getting his first goal for the club. Liverpool glove going to Porto. Porto 1. Liverpool 5, so that was on Tuesday night. In terms of Wednesday, and again, there was another big result. Benfica 3, Barcelona 0.
Yeah. What a scoreline for Benfica.
Massive. And Barcelona, that's 2 games you've lost, both games being 3-0, and you go into the next game against Dynamo Kiev. Dynamo Kiev, you get a point or win that, game over for Barcelona, for them. Let's go to next game, Manchester United 2, Villarreal 1. And then I'll just mention it, Juventus 1, Chelsea 0.
That was a bit of a comeback for Man U in that game. They were 1-0 down, weren't they?
It was indeed, yeah. And that man again in the 95th
Yeah.
minute, getting the goal. He actually came off really early on Saturday. I noticed. Yeah, it was about around the hour mark.
Age.
Yeah, he came off. They substituted him quite early in the Everton game the other day.
Mm.
But Europa League on the Thursday, Sparta Prague 1, Rangers 0. Legia Warsaw 1, Leicester City 0. So he's struggling still in Europe. Leicester City. Celtic 0, Bayer Leverkusen 4.
Oof, that's tough.
And a great win for West Ham 2-0 over Rapid Vienna. So West Ham United doing really well on their return to European football. 2 wins on the bounce. Over to the UEFA Conference League, and there's only 2 places to go. We'll start with Tottenham. They won 5-1 over Mura, and then our team over in Gibraltar made history again. They got their first ever goal in the group stage of European football, but they did go down 3-1 over FC Copenhagen. And that brings a roundup from me of all things football this week. It's been a interesting week of football with some fantastic games coming today, mate. It's got to say, so I will keep my eyes on as many of those. But from me, guys, this week, again, Adie, thanks very much for that strange fact. I do like that one, the longest one. That's really good. But from me, guys, I'll leave Adie to do his normal thing, round up everything. But from me, I will speak to you next week. It'll probably be not a longish one next week, simply because we've got the international break. But we will definitely cover the league, the League 1 and League 2 and non-league fixtures next weekend. But until then, I'll speak to you soon.
Lovely. Cheers for that, Dan. Thank you very much, as always. So yeah, guys, remember you've got do follow us on the social medias. Send your comments in about your clubs. That'd be lovely to hear, and we'll obviously talk about it on the podcast. So Facebook, if you look us up, it's All Things Football Podcast on there. On Twitter, it's twitter.com/ATF on Anchor. Thank you very much, guys. Enjoy the listen and take care. Have a good week. Bye-bye.